Hi, today we'll talk about whether it's better to be a YouTuber or a programmer in the 21st century. First, let's touch on the money issue. Programmer. Like, I'm a programmer now, working for myself as a freelancer. And money-wise, basically, income can be stable or unstable, but overall, it's above the market average. Meaning, if I live in my country, roughly speaking, I get X to the salary of an average professional like that. So basically, working as a programmer, you can definitely count on a life well above average. You'll likely have a comfortable apartment, your own car, and you won't have any significant financial difficulties to worry about. And you can achieve this in a remarkably short period of time, especially because there are incredibly powerful digital assistants available now, such as the rise of artificial intelligence. As for YouTube, it's a different situation here. Maybe never, or maybe for a long time, you won't be making any money from it. Meaning you'll be creating and filming your videos, but getting absolutely no return at all on it. So at the initial stage, it doesn't bring you any bonuses. But when we look further down the road, in just a few years, YouTube, the potential revenue stream from YouTube can be much higher than income from programming. Because in programming, you only have 24 hours in a day, and you still need to sleep, exercise, and take care of various important family matters. And you simply won't find yourself having much scalability in that regard. As for YouTube, one single video can then continue to generate views and engagement for years, collect ad revenue, attract new partners, and various other opportunities. Regarding the topic of stability, well, working as a programmer is always a stable job. You can work for a company or you can work for yourself. And even when we take into account the fact that artificial intelligence is rapidly advancing, complex software programs will still need to be written and maintained by people. Clearly, we won't be writing code anymore, we'll be writing instructions for artificial intelligence, but we'll still need to put it all together, someone has to take responsibility for it, and so on. So the stability here is actually quite good. As for YouTube, during the very beginning stages, there might not be much stability to speak of, but as things progress further down the road, here we might depend on the YouTube algorithms themselves. Meaning, for example, if something changes in the algorithms, our videos might stop being shown, or they'll add some extra conditions. They can delete your channel without you even knowing if you break some of YouTube's rules. So the stability here is actually quite low. But overall, there's some stability too. Next, let's look at freedom. Whether you're a programmer or a YouTuber, these are pretty freedom-loving professions because, well, as a programmer, you can work remotely, work part-time, and you can be anywhere in the world and work from there. But you're tied to at least a laptop or a big monitor because working on just a laptop isn't always enough or comfortable. Sometimes you have to set up a monitor, plug it in, and you're still a bit tied to a location because working on a beach with a laptop is a myth. It won't work. You'll have a ton of distractions. To work as a programmer, you need to take at least 4 hours a day and shut yourself away, somewhere indoors alone so no one bothers you, and dive deep into the work. So, when it comes to personal freedom, you can choose almost any place in the world to live. But even then, you'll still often be tied down to needing a chair, a sturdy desk, and some specific equipment. As for being a professional YouTuber, there's likely even more freedom involved. You can film anywhere you want. Usually, in today's modern world, you really just need a good smartphone with a decent high quality camera. You don't even necessarily need good sound because you can fix the audio later with AI. So, for a YouTuber, all their equipment is just the phone in their pocket. And here you can have significantly more freedom of movement and more, well, just more personal freedom in general. Regarding status, both professions are considered quite prestigious. If you tell someone you're a professional computer programmer, many will say, wow, he solves incredibly complex problems that others simply can't. It gives you a kind of extra boost of confidence, but you won't be known by many people at all. You'll only be known within your own small professional circle, like in your professional business circle, the people you provide services to. As for being a YouTuber, you'll have a much higher level of public fame. Saying I'm a famous YouTuber or some kind of media personality is quite impressive and prestigious. Everyone ultimately chooses their own unique path in life. Now, with artificial intelligence, many people are asking if AI will replace us as programmers or as YouTubers. And here, indeed, programmers now, especially beginners, are no longer needed in many companies. It is often much more efficient and easier to hire a single, highly experienced senior developer who will complete the entire workload of 10 standard junior level programmers instead. Because before, the code that I used to write for a week, now artificial intelligence with a good spec does in literally 5 minutes. That is, if you write in enough detail what it needs to do, it implements it all, and you just have to test it all. But for now, artificial intelligence cannot work without a technical assignment, without a spec. Well, I don't know, for example, even choosing a programming language, deciding what architecture to build correctly, and so on. For now, it is hard for an ordinary person who is not involved in programming to explain to a computer what needs to be done. Regarding YouTube, it would seem, well, yes, people will always watch videos, but there is a small nuance here. People will watch videos, but so many videos are now being generated using artificial intelligence. We can translate video into any language. We can just take our photo, send it to artificial intelligence, write text through some chat GPT, and this text will be read by our avatar. And such videos can be generated like 20 to 30 pieces a day. And therefore, content will now flood YouTube. This content based on artificial intelligence and competition, if before it was big, now it will become even bigger. That is, even the same profit you will have will be lower than it was. Therefore, if you go to YouTube, you must understand that you too will have to use artificial intelligence to the maximum. Same in programming, AI will need to be used fully. That is, now everything will be flooded with vast content. Therefore, there are risks everywhere. I will tell you more. When robots appear, the risks of replacing just ordinary physical professions like plumber, electrician, will also be quite under threat. It is just a matter of time when it happens. Programmers and YouTubers, perhaps, this will catch faster than professions that are related to the physical world. Next, regarding stability. Well, I work as a programmer and already for what, 15th year, probably, maybe even more. I haven't counted. And there's always work. You are always in demand. People always want more programs. And in principle, I think further, all this will be the same. Regarding YouTube, instability only at the initial stage, this runway, so to speak, while you develop your channel. But as soon as you have subscribers, monetization turns on. Naturally, additional motivation appears. Further and further, it'll be more and more stable. The only risk, as I've mentioned, is don't break YouTube's rules. Try to adapt to the platform. Your YouTube is your state, your employer. In the future, if you commit to this, meaning with this company, you'll do what this company says and live by its rules. When it comes to self-development, here again, it really comes down to what you want to develop in. Both professions develop the personality in a very significant way, just in different directions. In different directions, as a programmer, you'll develop your thinking, some mathematical thinking, logical thinking. And as a YouTuber, you'll develop your personal charisma, you'll develop the natural ability to speak, and you'll develop the essential ability to communicate with all kinds of people. Because actually, I initially, when I start and quit YouTube for a long time, or just recently start doing this, you realize that you don't know how to speak normally. I mean, you look at these popular YouTubers, you see how quickly they express their thoughts, and sometimes you just can't express your thoughts normally and normally retell what you want to retell. It's really a skill too. You have to work on it. I mean, to speak well, you have to speak a lot. To program well, you have to program a lot, and so on. When it comes to our lifestyle, I mean, how we'll live if we choose one profession or the other. The programmer profession is, generally speaking, one where you'll be sitting at the computer more. If you like this deeply immersing yourself in programs and silence so that no one bothers you, you're like an extrovert and introvert. If you're an introvert, you want to close yourself in a cozy room, sit, think, so that no one disturbs you, but you will be disturbed because there will be deadlines, clients will call, the boss will call, customers. There will be a lot of nerves. I mean, don't think that programming is such a vibe. That'll be quite fun. Time frames, deadlines, all of that is required. So, lifestyle, definitely do sports if you went into programming, because without doing sports, if you, for example, will, after working, scroll through TikTok and sit on the couch, then you'll generally atrophy your muscles, you'll feel bad. And actually, as a rule, the sleep schedule often gets messed up. I mean, programming work, it requires that your rest be active rest. By no means make your rest passive, because you'll generally degenerate in terms of physical culture. And if you're a YouTuber, your daily life can be significantly more, I think it can be more fulfilling because you can travel, film your travels, you can showcase the best parts of your life, engage and communicate with people on a much deeper level. I mean, inviting someone for an interview. And I'd still lean towards saying that it's a far more interesting and incredibly fulfilling life. But you probably have to be an extrovert for that kind of life, talking to people, getting feedback, and all that. Regarding the barrier to entry, well, programming now seems to have a low barrier to entry if you just sit down, like this with AI, let's say Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini, and just talk to it. Let it teach you some of the absolute basics. There's this fascinating new concept now called vibe coding. So, in fact, you really don't need to know any complex programming languages at all. You can just simply chat with the bot and it will basically do the work for you. Explain everything during the program development process. If you know how to communicate with AI correctly, then basically programming knowledge can be minimal. And even the knowledge you lack, you'll pick up while developing programs. As for the barrier to entry on YouTube, it's that whole runway phase when you have 0 subscribers, 10 subscribers, 100, 1,000, 2,000 subscribers. You grow very slowly, and when there's no feedback, like you shot a video and it's watched by 0 people, you spent 3 or 4 hours of your day on it, and 0 people watched it. And that's where many people give up. But there's a plus side to it. The real advantage here is that whoever doesn't quit, whoever keeps making videos consistently over time without overstressing, not seeing it as a huge chore, but as a genuine joy, will sooner or later find their audience and slowly start to build up some serious momentum. The barrier to entry is high because you have to cross this valley for a long time where you're not getting paid and have no results for a long time. Regarding stress, as I've said, I love programming, but I hate programming for a client with deadlines because sometimes it's nice to set aside a few hours a day, sit down quietly, in silence, even with dim lights, turn on the monitors, and complete some interesting task. It's cool, and you kind of enjoy it knowing you're getting paid, but usually you always have these strict deadlines deadlines, deadlines, faster, faster, faster. It all just builds up and up. Everyone wants it faster because, well, it's business. The faster they roll out features, the faster they get paid. And because of this constant deadline pressure, you start to get tired. There can be constant complaints about you did something wrong or the quality isn't there, so you start fixing things. Some bugs pop up and you spend a long time looking for them. Sometimes, for example, it's easier to build a new feature than to fix or find some old bug. So you often have extra responsibility when you're self-employed, like information security, and you're also financially responsible if you're working for yourself as a freelancer. So the stress level is quite high, especially if you're working directly with a client. Regarding YouTube, again, the stress level, it could be bad comments. Many people can't handle it when they've made a video and then there's some hate in the comments. But I just don't care about it. I mean, I'm already used to it, especially if you. I used to make videos about politics, and things were really intense there. But now, when you're filming about business, English, or creative stuff like playing the guitar, to be honest, I don't really ever get any hate at all from people online, so there is absolutely nothing for you to worry about here in this situation. The stress level is likely only at the initial stage, when you're putting in the work but not seeing any results yet. That's that stress level again. And as soon as your YouTube channel grows and takes off, once you're somewhat well known and start making enough money to support yourself, the stress level drops significantly. Instead, you're ready to invest in your asset every single day. If, for example, as a programmer, you're just working for food, just to make ends meet. Meaning you work, get paid, run out of money, and have to work again. Here, you're investing in an asset. You still have your YouTube channel, though I'll remind you again, it's not yours. It belongs to the platform. It's basically leased to you if you look at it that way, because at any moment, if the platform doesn't like you, it can delete your channel if you don't follow its rules. So be careful with that too. Regarding time independence, that is how much time you're willing to, well, working as a professional programmer, especially since I work as a full-time freelancer, it honestly consumes almost all the time it can possibly take from you. To be perfectly honest, I rarely ever take weekends off because if you really want to earn a decent living in this field, you have to overwork yourself quite a bit. As for YouTube, well, you basically choose for yourself here, especially right at the very beginning. Right now, I am focused on growing my various channels, but none of them have really taken off just yet, so I simply choose what works best for me. For instance, I might do one long form video a week and maybe some YouTube shorts once a day, and I try not to stress too much about it. Once it eventually becomes a full-time profession, yeah, maybe it takes that. But for example, I was watching this one YouTuber who runs a travel blog. He was saying that he basically quit doing YouTube for a year. And YouTube continued to generate significant revenue for him regularly through ads. That whole year, so he just lived on passive income. So here it is. Once you've reached that income threshold where you can live off it, you can afford to work in a maintenance mode, like making one video a week, for instance. Well, I do not really know, but I think that as soon as you start succeeding and as soon as you begin to get subscribers and real money from your creative asset, then I think it actually motivates you to film more and more content because you are no longer just filming into a dark void, you are already talking to a real audience, and they're almost like your friends. Right. Regarding the income ceiling, if a programmer has an income ceiling because there are 24 hours in a day, the reality is that no matter how much you raise the bar on your hourly rate, you're still going to find that you simply cannot charge 1 million an hour. then a YouTuber can, depending on the specific size of the audience on their channel and depending on the niche topic, the ceiling is practically unreachable. I mean, you can truly grow to a massive and incredibly engaged audience. You can get lucrative brand contracts. You can even become quite famous. You can monetize not just your channel through ads, but you can also launch your own unique brands. Based on this YouTube channel, you can maybe generate a large income, so there's practically no ceiling. That's why YouTube is much more promising in the long run. If programming is like a cash flow where you get money today, then YouTube is like an investment in the future. And regarding global opportunities, both a programmer and a YouTuber are people who can work in one country, move to another country, and basically continue working there. Because, for example, YouTube itself is doing this thing now. The future of YouTube is in multi-language support. I am currently in the process of filming this video right now, and you should know that it will be presented primarily in the English language. And it'll be translated into Italian, Russian, like German, Japanese, into all languages. There are 20 languages I think YouTube is translating into now. Yeah, the quality is still very low, like a mechanical translation, but the meaning is already clear. I think with the development of Gemini, they'll make it happen. And the voice will likely sound like yours in the translation, and most likely the lips will move as if you were speaking, and the subtitles will be good. So it's a matter of time before it happens, but these will be multi-language channels. So in any case, you reach everyone completely. You cover everyone with just one video. Probably all countries. The only thing is, most likely, you'll be shown first to the country of the language you filmed in, the main one, but you'll still reach other audiences as well. That is, competition will become global. If before Americans made things for Americans, or Japanese for Japanese, now a Japanese person, having made a video, can be popular in America, and an American in Japan, for example. So now the barriers will be erased. Therefore, competition will also get tougher. Plus, there's artificial intelligence added now, and so on. But you can reach the whole world globally. You can be heard all over the world. Your thoughts can be heard all over the world. Regarding programming, it's that kind of profession. I mean, if, for example, you were a doctor in one country, you move to another country. You can't, for example, get a job as a doctor there because you have to go through retraining and so on. A programmer can work remotely from any country, for any country, and move to any country, find a job there, just by knowing, for example, the English language. That'll most likely be enough. What's also good about YouTube is that you build a personal brand. If people know you, you have access to many opportunities. That is, you can launch some businesses under your own brand. Many doors will be open for you in politics and business, and in some circles that would be inaccessible to you if you weren't a YouTuber. With programming, that most likely won't happen. You can also build your personal brand as a programmer, again, most likely by starting a YouTube channel. Because no other social network, I think, provides such a large amount of free traffic as YouTube does. Maybe TikTok, but those are short videos, and that's not the format I want. Short videos are interesting in the sense that they're at the top right now. They're trending. So if I'm filming this long video now, the chance that someone will watch it quickly is smaller, whereas short videos, as a rule, all short videos get, well, at least their 1,000 views, they get them. Next. Overall, I mean, that in the long run, YouTube is always better. So as a long-term asset, it's cool. Because programming as a long-term asset can be good. Only if you're making your own product rather than working for a client. So if you're making some kind of SaaS service, developing it, then yes. So that's also a thing, also a good one. But again, let's agree that to make your own SaaS service, you will also have to work for free for a long time. But if with YouTube, by working for free, you gain fame And then you can sell something from your YouTube channel, meaning you have access to customers. Whereas if you just make your SaaS product, how are you going to promote this SaaS product? Will you look for an investor? Maybe you have money for advertising? Because Google ads right now, for example, they're very expensive. So it's not a given. Yeah, but overall, and I think that you shouldn't ask what's better, programming or YouTube. It's easier to combine these things. I mean, you program, you work a job or for a client, you get cash flow, which lets you live today, cover your some payments for the apartment, for groceries, and at the same time, develop your asset like YouTube. And when this asset starts bringing in more money than programming, then you'll decide for yourself what's more interesting, staying in programming or going full time into YouTube. Or maybe you'll keep combining them for a long time. Thanks everyone. Bye. Subscribe to the channel. See ya.